they're not doing the countdown?
Are we live?
I don't know. The countdown didn't go. Well, we can just pretend that we are.
I guess we're going to pretend that we're live. Why don't you introduce us?
There we go. All right. I'm Jared Wilson, technical difficulties aside, and this is the Resilient Living Podcast. My co-host, Ryan.
Hey, everybody.
Alrighty. So while we wait for people to trickle on in, I don't specifically have anything to talk about. Boy, that is really throwing me off not having my countdown. Yeah. So
do you have any new products or new things that you've added to the store lately, or things you're thinking about?
Okay, so I actually had a guy in the shop today. Really cool dude. Does a ton of like outdoor stuff. He makes accessories. Have you ever seen a life card? It's the little 22 long rifle pistol that folds up. It looks basically like a credit card, but thicker. He makes accessories for him. He's a really cool guy. And so he was in the shop and he was asking me about steel targets. Like I could carry steel targets. Like that's a really good thing, because it's like one of those things that like you buy it once. And I like things that, have stick-to-itiveness, or, like it's like you just have to buy it once and you don't have to, continuously rebuy things.
You might call them resilient.
You might. And then the one aspect of it that you do kind of rebuy is you spray them with spray paint. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, so we could sell the metal once, but then you come back and you buy a $15 bottle of spray paint every year or two. That's not bad. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So that is in my brain as a potential for
those little things that when you need it, and it's going to take a couple days from Amazon, so like they could just stop in the storefront and get
stop it. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that one. So Jared, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about myths and old wives' tales. So a couple weeks ago we did we talked about gardening, and I was doing all this research for what kind of garden I was going to have and what kind of plants, and we had all the different plants that you plant together, the plants you don't want to plant together. And in that, I found a whole bunch of what I thought sounded like really good advice, but some of which ended up being these old wives' tales that don't necessarily hold a lot of water. And so I thought, that's perfect. I'm going to talk about that. So we put together this list, and if anybody in the chat has some old wives' tales that they have heard growing up, please let us know. And it'd be great to hear some more stories about some wives' tales.
Well, and I imagine this is going to be a bit controversial for some people, because they're going to hear ones that they like.
I know, right?
Like, so we're what? So we're, to the extent we can, we're going to try to talk about not only what the old wives' tale is that's not quite true, and maybe where it came from or what actually does work. So I think that people will actually get something out of it. It won't just be a, hey, you're wrong, or you're wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Because a lot of them, they started for a reason, right? This got handed down from generation to generation, and maybe some details got left out, or the caveats and exceptions or whatever. So yeah, we'll absolutely dig into. So the first one is put gravel at the bottom of your pots for drainage. Yeah, yes, but no. So What would be the caveat? What would be the exception? Why wouldn't we do this?
Well, the idea here is you're putting it at the bottom and then you're putting soil on top. And what happens is the soil just goes down into the gravel. And now you have
the compaction layer.
You have larger impermeable things. So instead, if you put a layer between it, let's say old timey, you'd put burlap, you put gravel down, then you put burlap down, then you put the soil on it. That would allow for good drainage, or even potentially making something like a rudimentary wicking bed.
Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, dude, that'd be perfect for a wicking bed, so you don't have to fuss with it nearly as often. That's great. It makes it even better.
Yep. So if you know a coffee roaster, or somebody like that who has burlap bags, or you can use weed cloth, works as well, but it's plastic, so you might want to avoid it.
Nice, like that. That's a nice, clean, and simple one.
Yeah. So watering, number 2 is watering plants in full sun and they'll burn. What do you think about that?
So I actually had a what was a botanist. So I had a conversation with a botanist about this because that's what I had always heard. It's like,
Mhm.
don't water them plants because it'll burn. She's like, okay, the lensing effect is so insignificantly small. She's like, the biggest issue with the time of day is the plants, they wake up. And when they wake up, they want to drink. So if you can water them early, that's when they're going to soak up the water. If you water them, later in the morning when it will burn, they're not soaking up water at that point, and you're going to lose most of that water to evaporation. If you water them too late in the evening, you're potentially drowning the roots because all that water sits on the roots because the roots aren't active. They're not trying to aspire and move that water upwards. It's like, oh, I was thinking about that all sorts of wrong.
Yeah. Well, the other thing here is if you just change the way you water, it removes this potential entirely. Right. So one of my favorite ways that not a lot of people even think of is just simple soaker hoses. So you can go to
Right.
Harbor Freight, buy super cheap soaker hoses, run them, serpentine them through your garden, and they'll work on low pressure.
Yeah.
They'll work with, they use very little water because they're dripping it right at the in line with your plants. So, even if this was a problem, there's a much better solution, because why are you watering from the top anyways?
Right. Well, and that works with passive watering systems. So if you were, say, rain collecting and you had a reservoir, you don't have a whole lot of head pressure, but that's okay because a soaker hose doesn't need a lot of head pressure. So yeah.
In fact, out in Hartsville, Tennessee, where we've got the demonstration site, that's exactly what we do. We have, I think it's about a 15-foot height difference between where the tanks are sitting and the garden. And we use soaker hoses totally passively, and it works great. It just takes a little longer.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect use case. So yeah.
All right. What's number 3?
All right. Companion plantings always works. Makes everything all better. And that's okay. So a lot of what I found in these old wives' tales are, and this kind of goes back to our logical fallacies podcast, is these absolutisms where it's like always, never, all, where you have this overarching, like, this is the once and done solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, we know that's never the case. So companion plantings are good, are beneficial sometimes, maybe even most of the time, but definitely not always.
Yeah.
And it's not going to solve all your problems. Like, oh, if I plant these specific plants together, they'll flourish. They'll be perfect. Well, do they actually grow in your area? Like, I don't know.
Do they like each other?
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think with all of this, but companion planting especially, you're dealing with the phrase, like, what you should be asking or thinking is, it depends, right? There's never really a one size fits all with any of this stuff, with permaculture, with gardening, with homesteading. It depends on the situation, and it depends on what you're trying to do, what your goals are.
Yes, that is the biggest thing, is depends on what your goals are, because your priorities are going to be different than my priorities, and your mileage may vary.
Yep. Yeah. And some companion planting is excellent. Some of it isn't. Some is just site dependent.
Yep. So the next one, it was funny. So Epsom salts. Epsom salts fixes every gardening problem. I can't tell you how many times I was coming across this Epsom salts solution. I'm like, I don't ever remember growing up. I don't ever remember hearing about using Epsom salts, but apparently it was prolific and I just missed it.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard using Epsom salts?
I have, and I have some real strong cautions about using Epsom salt too.
Well, being that the Romans, salted the earth to end.
Right. We conquered Carthage. We're going to salt the earth. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you're right. Unless you really need magnesium, it's probably not a great solution. And you don't know what you need until you do a soil test. So there are some things you can see on your plants, like your tomato plants. There's some obvious signs of low magnesium, but it doesn't mean that you should be dumping Epsom salt on the garden right away. So you need to do a soil test, know where things are at. I always recommend Logan Labs, no affiliation. They're just the best to work with, and pretty affordable too.
Yeah. Well, and getting true results as opposed to recommendations is really
Right.
important.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I recommend them. Is they don't really tell you what you should do or what you should add or what, the amendments need to be. They tell you what the levels are, and then you can do the research. And if you're comfortable with AI is actually amazing at taking that PDF that you get from them and telling you, based on if you want to be organic, if you want to be regenerative, whatever your goals are, you can actually have it list out what you should be adding. So what your budget is, things like that, what the best bang for the buck is. So you can actually sort that out pretty quickly if you just get the Logan Labs basic $35 test.
Nice. Well, and it's surprising to me how many gardeners I hear only talk about pH.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, but that's only one of the variables in your soil. Like that's not. It's like, oh yeah, well, I need a pH between this. Like, but what about all the other nutrients? Like,
well, and the other thing is you sometimes just use what you have for what it does well.
sure.
An example of this is, again, the site out in Hartsville, the demonstration site. Most of the soil in the entire area is it's between 5.0 and 5.7.
Oh wow.
So it's
Okay.
very acidic, right?
Yeah.
And that's due to people dumping, I think it's basically triple 19 on it, fertilizer, which is our next one. We'll get there.
Yes.
And it's caused the soil to be extremely acidic and extremely high in phosphorus.
Ooh.
And so not having the soil test means I don't know what I'm dealing with, first of all. So I could be making amendments in the wrong direction. But additionally, you've got high acidity, and so you can use that to your advantage. So what we're actually going to be doing is planting a lot of berries, especially blueberries. So we're going to be using the already very acidic soil for blueberries rather than trying to amend all of it.
Sure.
But the work we've done in the garden, we've got that back to about a 6.8, which is basically perfect.
Wow.
And that wasn't doing any intentional pH amendments. That was just constantly adding organic matter and mulch, and it just naturally moved itself back.
Nice.
Still has too much phosphorus, but we'll deal with that later.
Right. So, well, yeah. And that's the next one is more fertilizer equals bigger harvests. No.
Right. No.
That's just a full stop. No. Yes,
yeah.
There's absolutely time and place for some fertilization. Absolutely. Is not a slam bam, thank you ma'am solution at all times. Because like you said, most likely they had issues, so they just threw fertilizer at it. They had issues, so they threw more fertilizer at it.
Yeah, I like to tell people, when I'm talking about why get a Logan Labs test as opposed to a USDA/NRCS soil test.
Right.
What I like to tell them is your soils are likely in the condition that they're in because of the NRCS or USDA test that's $5 cheaper.
Yeah.
Right. And so just pony up, pay the little bit of extra, get it from the right place, and we can help get you a mitigation or fertilization program put in place so that you can actually correct these things. Right. Because as you put these fertilizers on, especially the true chemical fertilizers, they kill off the soil microbiome. And so what you end up starting to grow in something that's more akin to hydroponic growing,
Yes.
And the soil is just something to hold the roots in place. And you have to put all the inputs into the soil for the things to grow.
Yeah, it's on life support.
Yeah. And obviously that's not good for us. And it means more and more inputs over time. So yeah, more fertilizer does not equal, it might equal bigger harvest temporarily.
But yeah, on that initial, maybe for the first couple of years, sure. But then at some point, it's going to require that continuous input.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're going for. We're going for sustainability.
Exactly. And I do still work with a client who started with fairly conventional fertilizers, higher quality, but he used very little, basically just to get the soil back into a state of being able to function better, a little bit more into equilibrium. And so he was very careful about not overdoing it. And he's done very, very well with that.
Nice.
All right. Number 6, you must till every
gotta
year.
Gotta till it. Always gotta till it. Like rip up that ground. Which tilling, can be, if you have highly compacted soils, high clay, you need to break up, then yes, there's absolutely a time and a place to till. Sure. But that's not always going to be the case. And you definitely don't need to do it year after year if you're doing a good job of feeding that microbiome that's hopefully growing in your soil.
Right. Yeah. Most of the clients that I have and people that I work with, and on my own homestead, we've gone full non-till. And my soil was hard compacted, not topsoil clay.
Right.
That somebody had moved from somewhere else on the property just to like fill spaces.
Sure.
And it was hard red clay. And I put some horse manure on top of that. So it was cardboard, horse manure, wood chips, let it sit for a while. And at this point, I can go anywhere in my garden and dig probably that far down. And it's nice, like easy to dig, black.
Big, loamy. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So there's no need to till that. And every time you till it, you're interrupting other systems in the soil, especially the mycorrhizal fungi, which is it's the internet of the soil.
Yeah. It's how it communicates. It's how it moves nutrients around and it does all kinds of wonderful things.
Yeah. The other thing is when you till, that blade on the bottom of the tiller, as it scrapes up the soil, makes the top soft. It's hitting that as it hits the bottom, it actually compacts it. So you've got this layer that's nice and fluffy. And just below that, you've got even harder hard pan. And now you've got plants that are used to that nice loose dirt as it goes down. And then it hits that hard pan. It's done.
Right. So then it can't go anywhere. And then you have water issues because water does the same thing. It goes down and hits that and then goes sideways.
Yep.
Rot and all.
Yeah. Or you can have water that backs up in that area because you've essentially made a pool with some soil in it.
Yeah.
So tilling has its place. It's not as often as most people would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's number 7?
Marigolds. Marigolds repel every type of pest. And we talked about that one on that couple episodes ago. Marigolds are fantastic. Like they do definitely, keep away certain nematodes and some pests. They're not magical.
No, they're beneficial for sure. And they're definitely part of an integrated garden system.
Definitely.
But they are not magic.
Right. Well, and that's a lot of this where and I see it mostly on Instagram. I don't know what's up with Instagram, but it's like, you just need to do this and everything was going to go perfectly. And that feeds into because we kind of idealize life. Like, if I only, then it'll be perfect. Like, no, it's not. It never will be. We live in a fallen world. It's not going to change just because you have marigolds. Right.
Well, and you know what a lot of this reminds me of, and I'm going to maybe get some hate mail on this one, but it reminds me of the essential oils fix everything mindset. It's essential oils have a place. They're really potent, really useful for certain things. But they don't fix your broken back or a stop sign through your spleen or anything else. Right. Like if you're in a car wreck, essential oils are not going to help. So and there's a lot of things that, again, essential oils don't cure. If you don't have enough nutrient of some sort, like it's not going to cure scurvy, right? Yeah. Right. Or other things that we don't currently recognize as being nutrient deficiencies, but are. Right. So,
Vic has one. Rabbits love carrots and they're good for them. Yeah, that's definitely not. They'll definitely eat the tops off of a carrot.
Yeah,
the leafy greens.
You know where that came from? The popularity of it.
Nowhere
is Bugs Bunny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured there was something before Bugs, but that sounds about right.
No, I'm pretty sure as Bugs Bunny was kind of the originator of that. Of course, you can give rabbits carrots and they do like them. They're not good for them and they want to eat them in the wild.
Right. Well, it's kind of like the mice with cheese thing.
Mhm.
Like that's not actually great for them. No, don't do that.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to kill them,
Oh yeah,
I don't
right.
know if it matters, but they're not attracted to it for the most part. In
Right.
fact, a lot of cheeses there are the colonies that are used to make them
Hmm.
are toxic to mice, and so mice will avoid them.
Right, and that's actually some of the myths that we'll get into are oh well, if animals can eat it, then humans can too. That's not good. Don't do that.
Nope, that's not how that works.
Right.
It's not how any of this works.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So number 8, you can't compost meat, dairy, or bones. Can't you? Can
No,
you?
sure you can.
If you do, if and that's the whole thing. It's like you have to know what you're doing. Like there is
Mhm.
ways of doing all of this. You just need to make certain allowances and
Yeah.
have. Yep.
Yeah. So first of all, if you're thinking kind of more traditional composting, but not turning, John
Right.
bioreactor, as long as you're not loading it up with huge amounts of meat and fat, will
Yeah.
compost it just fine. Other things that will compost it well are chickens who will eat it, process it, poop it out, and you can turn that into amazing compost. You can throw those things into black soldier fly bins,
Yeah. That's
and
yes.
then you get multiple outputs. So you get the frass from the black soldier flies, you get the black soldier fly larva that the chickens eat, and you can throw that frass into a traditional composting system. Bones are a little bit harder, but the way I really like to use them in composting systems is actually make char out of them.
Ooh.
So if you're
Okay.
making biochar, you can do that out of the bones as well. And so those biochar or those bones from the biochar actually have some distinct characteristics from the structure that a tree or wood would have when you make char out of it. And so you can turn those back into the compost once you've done that as char, and then they get charged with the compost when they go on your garden. And
Ah.
so, yeah, tons of ways to compost all of those things. You just have to be careful about how you do it.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Yes.
Worm bins will compost certain things to an extent.
Sure. And that's the thing is like there's limitations and there's reasons and use cases for all of this.
Yep,
Ooh,
for
Rocky
sure.
wants to know about bone meal. His chickens are cannibals. His, chickens are fairly, yeah,
Yeah, bone meal works. It's a little harder to make like on a homestead level to make in high quality bone meal. But yeah, sure, if your soil needs it. And yes, chickens they don't care. They'll eat anything. So they're cannibalistic.
they're just opportunistic.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So number 9 is, or I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can,
Number 9, plant
yeah.
by the moon and you'll always get better yields.
I had never heard this before. I'm like, wait, who's doing this?
Yes.
They're like, are they literally saying like plant in like moonlight, like go out at night and plant?
That's my understanding, but also to plant at the
At
point of I think it's a full moon.
okay, so lunar cycles being some kind of a and I look historically, there's been a lot of cultures that do follow the lunar cycle as being magical basically,
Mhm.
and do things in relation to that. So I could definitely see where it could have come from, but um, I definitely don't see where there's any physical mechanism that that would actually impact the growth of anything.
Different gravitational pulls. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Um, I've heard mixed things on this from various people.
Sure.
Some being somewhat scientific and thinking that they may have come across something. There does seem to be some evidence that there's some change in it, but
Okay.
it's as far as measuring it scientifically and as far as what or why, I don't think anybody really has a good understanding.
Sure.
Um,
Well, and
it-
I'm down for, things that I don't understand.
Mhm.
If you can actually show me a mechanism that it actually can produce a change within a system. Yeah, cool, dude. Freaking awesome. A lot of the hearsay though is just that it's very unfounded. There's no control groups. There's no, scientific methodology in ascertaining the function. It's just, oh yeah, this is good for that. Well,
Yeah.
why? How? Says who?
Well, I think we're going to make a lot of people mad in a little bit when we get to electroculture, because that's what I've seen there so far.
Yes.
Again, not to say there couldn't be some mechanism of action that we're not aware of. But this one of planting by the full moon, in my experience and what I've read, heard, talked to people about, it seems kind of closely related to certain semi-occultish practices from like local people. I'm not even thinking native, but like just like Appalachian cultures that have kind of been handed down. Sure. There's a specific name for it, I can't think of it, but it's kind of pseudo-religious practices. And I think that's kind of where it came from. So it doesn't mean it doesn't work. I don't know why it does, or if it does, or
right,
that kind of thing. So all right, man, what's number 10?
All right, number 10, you need raised beds to grow good food. I mean, raised beds, yeah, you can, but you have other considerations, because you're going to, go through more water, because you're going to have more evaporative losses. You're going to be responsible for maintaining all of the nutrients in that soil, because you created it. It's not tied back into the earth where the rest of the nutrients come from. So yes, you can get good food out of it. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It really depends. Again, like everything, it depends on what your purpose is, what you're trying to do. If you're older and you want to bend over less to
pragmatic, absolutely.
Great. Yep.
Yes.
If you've got rhizomial grasses that you're trying to keep out and you can dig those in a little bit,
right.
Great reason for it. If you want to grow carrots and you're in hard clay soil, that's probably a good way to do it. In my case, I like growing in the ground. I've found a way to make something that most people would say, areas that most people would say have to have raised beds. Well, that soil, the clay soil, is usually really nutrient dense. So if you can find a way to, yeah, exactly. And, maybe raised beds are the right choice. Maybe they're not. Maybe raised beds and in-ground gardening are correct. It really depends on what you're trying to do.
And you can do your raised beds to start your garden, and then break them and spread that soil out. And once you have established some good soil, then you can maybe do your first pass till and incorporate some of that to break it up. But yeah, there's definitely use cases.
Yeah, or broad fork it.
Definitely broad fork it.
Yeah, that avoids that hard pan at the bottom that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Which also, if you've been tilling and you've kind of gotten stuck in that cycle and you want to break that cycle, get some good organic matter to put on the top and compost, whatever. Yeah. And then broad fork it and do that for a couple of years. And that should fix that hard pan at the bottom.
Sure. Yeah, Vic, you are in the worst possible nutrient wise and soil wise. Like, I get you, bro.
Yep. Yeah. And for Vic out in in the northern part of Arizona, that kind of high desert.
Yeah. Up in that plateau of,
yep.
It's just,
the more mulch, the better. Cause you're not water rich.
Yeah.
And that's going to build over time, using your chickens to make organic matter with mulch. That's going to help over time as well, but it's an uphill battle for sure.
Definitely.
All right. So number 11, we're actually moving into homesteading myths.
Yep.
Just gardening myths.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to throw something in the chat as far as more gardening ones, we're going to jump into homesteading. So we can double back though. So yeah, first one, chickens, low maintenance, nothing. You don't have to worry about them ever. You raise them from little chicks. They're piece of cake, which, I mean, as far as animals are concerned, they are fairly simple. They're definitely, I wouldn't call them low maintenance though.
Depends on your setup.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And that is valid. Yes.
Yeah. So, I know a lot of people, most people are mucking their coops out every month or two, every couple of weeks. And it's a major pain. I do mine once every 2 years. So that, that makes things a lot easier.
That's not the norm.
No, but I can teach people how to do it because it's actually quite simple.
Right.
It just takes a few things to know, and then it becomes a lot easier. But yeah, they're always going to have
They're the
predator
gateway,
issues.
but not carefree. No kidding.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, they need that daily interaction. You can set things up if you try really hard to basically automate for about 4 to 6 days if you want to put the time and money into dumb and smart automations to get that up and running.
Sure. All right. So chickens are, definitely not really low maintenance. Goats will eat anything, right?
Yeah. Tin cans.
Right. Again, opportunistic little buggers. So a friend of mine, he's got goats, and he was complaining because he's got this huge overgrown grass, and he wanted the goats to go in there and clean it up. But he mowed like a path through the grass, and the goats will only eat the fresh growing grass in the path.
Right.
And so they've got that path clean as a whistle. They will not eat the woody stalks of these tall grasses because they don't want to.
Right. Yeah. I think the thing with goats is people, or any ruminants for that matter, is people tend to think if I get goats or hair sheep, cattle, I won't have to mow.
Right.
I won't have to bush hog. It's like, that's not true. You'll do it less.
Yep.
And over time it will become less and less because eventually you will get the things you want. But if you don't mow, what'll happen is all the stuff that the goats didn't want is going to grow up big and tall. It's going to go to seed, and it's going to be favored because the goats aren't eating it.
Right.
So
now
you have to
more of it that they don't want to eat.
Yep. Yeah. And goats also tend to be browsers more than grazers, meaning their head is up higher, and they tend to, if they can, they like to eat things that are up high, like leaves, brush, things like that. Whereas cattle are more grazers, sheep tend to be more grazers. Their head is angled down more.
They're biting whatever, ripping it up and eating it.
Yeah. And so they tend to eat grass or graze more. And so combining the two can be really helpful in reducing your need to mow or bush hog behind them. But it also means more management, more maintenance. So yeah, goats don't eat anything. There's plenty of things that are poisonous. And the whole tin can thing, if I'm not mistaken, came essentially, I think they'll gnaw on them and play with them, but
sure,
I think at one point in history, because of the glues that were being used to put to hold the paper on the tin can,
right,
they were eating at it to get the glue in the paper.
Sure.
So not actually eating tin cans for that matter.
Yeah. Right.
All right. What's number 13?
This is my favorite. Homesteading saves money. I mean, it can eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not really the point. We don't homestead because we're trying to save money. We're trying to live more resiliently, be less dependent upon the world as a whole and shoddy business practices. We want to eat, I don't know, real food. We want real products. We want, and it's not always going to be the cheapest.
Right. You may be saving over what you would pay to have somebody else produce the food in the way you want.
For comparable, yes. Yeah. Dollar or apples to apples comparison. Yeah, you probably are.
Yeah. And it depends on what you're growing too, right? Because, if I try to grow wheat on my property to get the amount that I need to make a loaf of bread would stop me from growing something else that's a lot more valuable to me.
Sure.
And yeah, sure, it's expensive to go to, I don't know, the farmer's storehouse down the road from you.
Yeah.
But it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier than me trying to grow the wheat and thresh the wheat and mill the wheat. And,
right.
So if I want wheat, I'm going there.
Well, and that's actually one of the myths that we'll get it to in a little bit is the, basically I'll be completely self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be specialization, and it's important. We need to be able to specialize because some people are just talented in certain ways, and that's a good thing, and that's to be celebrated, and we need to lean upon each other in that. So it's never, don't ever think that I have to grow the wheat and the, tomatoes and the, raise the cattle and the no, you don't.
No. And the Amish, who are light years ahead of me, as far as self-sufficiency, they couldn't take one of those families and you just leave them by themselves alone without the rest of the community.
Right.
They can't make it either, because one person does have the grain mill for all, for your chicken feed and everything else, right? And somebody else is growing that grain, and somebody else is growing the other things that they need. And probably everybody has chickens, so nobody's really bartering or selling eggs back and forth, but maybe somebody's the person who breeds the chickens so that they keep a good laying bloodline, or whatever else. So there's all these people who need to do kind of specialized tasks and trade amongst each other. And so you always need a community, and you're never going to be 100% disconnected from the system.
Right. Yeah. Well, and so that's number 14. Every family needs a milk cow. I don't personally know. Okay. There's 4 of us, 6 gallons of milk a day. I don't know where I would put it. I'm
Makes
definitely not
pigs
going to
really fat.
Yeah. It's like, so like going back to the Amish, spread out amongst, a couple families. Sure. If I had, my mom and my mother-in-law and my cousins living on the property with me, yeah, that would actually make some sense. But no.
If you can function stack it, and here's where everything comes back to, it depends. If you can function stack it into a system, so maybe you're making a ton of cheese.
Yes.
You're pulling all the cream off.
Yep.
Because you can use that for all kinds of amazing things.
Yep.
And then you could make kefirs or yogurts. And then you could also then use the leftover skim milk to give to pigs, because we know skim milk makes humans and pigs fat quickly.
Sure does. But I mean, that's a full-time job in and of itself, of dealing with,
it is,
6 gallons of a day, and separating out all of those things to make the cheeses, the butters, the, all of the things. Like, dude, that's a lot of work.
It's a huge amount of work, and you've got to get her up early to milk the cow, and you've got to dry the cow out every once in a while. And then you don't have that whole process that you've built out for however many months until the cow's pregnant again and gives birth. So, it's not everybody needs a cow, and not everybody needs a milk animal. They can be great in the right circumstances, but they can be very expensive. The whole process of having one can be very expensive. You need a lot of space, generally speaking, even though some books tend to think you can keep them in a 1/4 of an acre. That's not really appropriate.
No, don't do that. Poor cow. Gosh, 1/4 acre.
Yeah, because I've seen, 1 acre homestead that has a cow in it. I'm like, probably not. I mean, you can bring in hay, and that can be another function stacked thing, where when the cow's done with the hay, you clear that out and it goes to your gardens and orchards and whatever else. So you can make it work if you think about how to do it right. But if you don't set that up right, it's just a money pit and a time pit.
Yeah. I mean, veterinary bills, food bills, getting it bred. I mean, like there's a lot that goes into cattle.
All right. What's number 15?
Owning land makes you self-sufficient.
That's true.
It gives you the possibility of being self-sufficient.
Or closer to it, at least.
Closer to it.
Or it also gives you the opportunity of being bankrupt and
I mean, I could, I've got 8 acres. Well, that's great, except that I'm not utilizing most of it. Like, I'm not actually, able to, do anything functionally with it. So I just spent a whole bunch of money to have something that I'm going to have to fuss with. I'm going to have to either have somebody come in and brush hog it, or run cattle through it, or do something with it to just manage the kudzu alone. Just the kudzu.
Yep. And that's another problem, is the solution kind of things. But if you don't have the time to invest, and you're trying to be wise about not taking on too many things too quickly,
Yep.
Now your kudzu is going to go crazy. And
sure is.
So now you have to manage for 8 acres that if you didn't have the 8 acres, like in my case, I've got an acre and a half. It's plenty to manage.
Right.
It's a lot sometimes with all the different things I have going on it, and I'm barely scratching the surface.
Right.
Could I have a milk cow? No. Should I have a milk cow? No.
I sometimes want one.
Yeah, a little bit. And then I realized I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, more property actually can mean essentially slavery if you're not careful about how you take it on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You can be so bound up because you have to take care of it. You have to do something with it. And just having the thing, and I deal with this a lot in the shop because I sell things. That's what I sell.
Mm-hmm.
Having the thing does not in and of itself make you self-sufficient.
Right.
It really comes down to experience, more than equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be much happier with somebody taking a class, and learning an ability over buying the stuff, because they can make do with lesser, or they will value a greater quality of an item because they have worked with and used that. Let's say something as simple as a knife. If you spend any time bushcrafting, you're going to value a good knife. And so you're going to be willing to spend the money on a good knife because you understand what makes it a better knife.
Right.
Same thing with firearms, same thing with water filtration systems, same thing with, like, it doesn't matter, medical, kit. So having this stuff and land is just same thing. Just because you have it doesn't mean that it is in and of itself valuable. You need to know what to do with it.
Okay, so when's the next class at Resilient Living?
I've got a hands-on firearms training class that's going to be women only, and I'm still working with a friend of mine. He's going to do a basic land navigation class. We haven't figured out a place to do that one yet because I want to find someplace out in the woods that he can, that we can walk for miles. So we'll work on that one. So more to come on that one.
Cool. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. Number 16, older methods are always superior.
So I was thinking about this one, right? There's absolutely value to older methods, but there's a reason that those methods got put aside. And it could be like somebody was just tired of, having to hitch up the steer to be able to till their land. And so they wanted a tractor. I get that. It came with other burdens, right? So we're trading off one issue for another issue, just like they're trading off that, those issues. So I kind of went back and forth on this one because I'm like, yeah, I kind of see it, but I kind of don't, because I do value those old skills and those old ways of doing things.
Are you familiar with the term survivor bias?
That was World War II. That was the airplanes, right?
Well, it's been adapted in other ways, right? So the basic idea is that when somebody survives, there's like I lived through it kind of a mentality, right? And so there's this kind of idea of the thing lives on because, or another way to put it is actually more of the opposite of that, which is if a knife lasted, like you've got this knife that's old and you've got this idea of they don't make them like they used to, because I've got this 100-year-old knife that's great. Well, how many 100-year-old knives are broken and, completely oxidized and decomposed into a landfill somewhere because they weren't great from 100 years ago.
Right.
So we have this, it's not quite the original meaning of the word or the concept, but we have this survival bias towards the processes and the things that we still see working. And so we kind of think, oh, the old things were great. Like old houses are amazing. Like look at my house,
only the ones that are still around. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 200 plus years old. Well,
right.
it was built in the right place with materials that would last. Do you know how many houses 200 years ago aren't here today?
Most.
Yeah. It was very common 200 years ago to build a house that was one by whatever this way and one by the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't even know the term for it. And I'm a home inspector because I never see them. Right. They don't exist.
They don't survive.
Right. So there's things that survive and we go, oh, the old ways were better. The old things were better. And in the right context, probably yes. And there may be a reason they were done that way for so long. Sure. But there's a lot of things that have survived that are new modern, or that have better ways that have been created to do something.
Oh yeah. Well, and so your example of a 200-year-old house, how many times has that house been retrofitted and or maintained over those 200 years? Probably quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's lived of its own volition.
Right.
We had to maintain something in it. So
there's been a few new roofs over the years.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So World War II, they were analyzing all of the shot placements of all of the aircraft that came back.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the engineers pointed out, yes, but they made it back. It's the other areas that weren't getting hit because they were trying to figure out where to up armor these aircraft. They're like, no. It's the areas that didn't get shot. Those aircraft never came back.
Right.
Because that's where they got shot. That's where you armor. Not where the other ones succeeded in coming back. Yeah. So the survivorship bias is absolutely a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for filling in the gaps on the story there.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorites because it is so telling, because it's something that's really easy to overlook. I have the same conversation when I talk about inflation, because it's really hard to grasp the idea that the physical dollar isn't worth what it used to be. Even just a few years ago, it takes more of those pieces of paper to do the same amount of work, because having a negative space is kind of a hard concept to grasp for some people.
Right.
And I get that. It's a weird concept. I'll grant you. It's not that businesses, you're just charging more money because, back in 1973, when I bought a case knife from, the the penny store, it cost me $5, and now you want to charge me $73. I'm like, well, it's because the dollar is not worth what it used to be, and it's a case knife. Don't buy a case.
Speaking of knives that cost a lot less, this was $20, I think, when I got it 20 some years ago. It's gone with me on several international trips.
Oh my!
I say accidentally.
Oops.
I won't be more specific than that, but yeah. I found it in a pocket of a backpack a couple of years back. Anyways, yeah, it's funny. If I were to look up this knife, I bet it would, if I could still get it, it would cost a lot more.
Oh yeah, most likely.
So,
all right.
Number
17.
This one kind of looks back at number 15 a little bit.
It really does. Yeah, that you need to have a lot of land in order to homestead. One of my favorite books that I have in the shop is Quarter Acre Homestead, or something to that effect. It's amazing what you can, if it's well laid out, you can grow, specifically gardening wise, you can grow a tremendous amount of food in a quarter acre.
Yeah, absolutely.
Animals are difficult. I mean, I would definitely encourage something like Muscovies. Like you got your little, I saw your little Muscovies. Those are cute. Something like ducks where, you're in a smaller lot, so you don't want to irk your neighbors too badly. So maybe you don't want chickens. But ducks are great. They're, fairly, so you can have them in fairly close proximity to your garden. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of options. You don't need to have a big lot.
That you bring up Muscovies is really funny, because we literally have a Muscovy sitting on eggs underneath our neighbor's deck. And our chickens never go anywhere outside of our yard.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Muscovies are quiet. They're friendly. They're pretty cool. Yeah, they're very edible. Exceptionally edible from my understanding.
Yeah, they're a really rich dark meat.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Read.
They're kind of the red meat of the fowl varieties. So, all right. But yeah, I mean, you can produce a ton on a small amount of land, and I would actually highly recommend for people who are not experienced to start wherever they are, even if that's a balcony garden. Some hanging stuff off your balcony on your apartment, right?
Dude, vertical gardening is amazing. I mean, if you go to Lowe's, whatever, buy yourself, some 4-inch PVC pipes and a hole saw
Mm-hmm.
and make some vertical, garden beds.
Yeah. Even experiment with hydroponics or aquaponics or whatever else. Like there's a lot you can do. My garden's not big. It's not small, but it's not big. And with my 1.5 acres with about a third of it being wooded, actually more now with all the orchards I've put in. We've raised meat birds, so chickens. We've got eggs. We've got all the garden stuff. We've got tons of mulberries. Last night we did a salad that was, chicken meat, eggs, green beans, mulberries, and then greens that we had raised on property, all various types.
Nice.
Everything except for the vinaigrette salad came off of our little tiny property, or salad dressing came off of our little tiny property.
Dude, that's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, you can do so much with such a little space. And until you understand how to do that, if you get a big space, you're going to spread out too far, too fast, burn yourself out, waste a ton of money, and get almost no production whatsoever.
Sure. Yeah.
It'll be a lot more input.
I really want to encourage everybody that, this homesteading is attainable. Don't push too far, too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is a constant refrain for me with whoever I'm working with is
sure.
Don't spread too far, too fast. Keep it close. Think zone permaculture, right? Zone 1, get it dialed in, get it working. Maybe dabble a little bit on zone 2, but do not push your way out all the way out through zone 2 and 3, which, those should be distant goals, not we're doing it right now kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Right. All right. So that leads us right into living off the land myths that you can live indefinitely by hunting and fishing. So I was laughing at this one specifically because during the Great Depression, they just about hunted multiple species out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you cannot hunt and fish your way. Like that does not end well.
Yeah, hunting and fishing also doesn't pay your property tax.
That too.
So, even if you're like totally independent in every other way, you've paid off unless you've got a trust paying your property tax. And at that point, you're probably so independently wealthy that the living off the land thing is a little bit of a, maybe you do it because you're odd, but not because you have to.
You're odd. I like that.
But who even wants, I mean, it's a great idea to like get stuff from your land to forage, to enjoy it, but
sure.
To go hunting, that's all great, but don't take it too far.
Yeah. Especially that's not going to work. If it's just you, that maybe, but like if there's any number of people trying to live that way and hunt and fish for survival, yeah, you'll deplete the wildlife in so quick. It will be,
Yeah. I remember talking with my grandpa who used to hunt turkey, and it was like a big deal to get a license to hunt turkey because they were almost extinct from the Depression.
Yep.
The same like squirrels, people would use rat traps that would screw them to trees.
Right.
And, people would, I talked to someone, I forget who it was, but basically he was young during the Depression, but kind of asked like, oh, so you ate squirrels? Well, yeah, until there weren't any.
Yeah, exactly.
Traps worked great until there weren't any squirrel left. So yeah, I mean, we need to be ready to be able to up our production on our own property and find ways to do that with some type of domesticated or semi-domesticated livestock.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to achieve here is sustainability. Yes, it's in the emergency hunting is an option for sure. But if we can live our life sustainably now when the emergency comes, we're already that much further ahead.
Mhm. All right. So number 19, wild animals are easy to trap. Is that
So
true?
if anyone's ever actually messed with a snare trap or a pitfall trap or a deadfall trap, the little buggers evade them like the plague. I swear they can sense it.
Well, it just makes sense, right? I think you and I, as Christians, don't necessarily ascribe to the entire evolutionary. Everything came from a single cell
Oh,
organism.
yeah, right.
But
But they are
the,
smart little buggers that learn.
well, and not only do they learn, but you've got um, basically the ones who aren't easy to trap are the ones who survive, and so you've
Mhm.
got the survival of the fittest thing going on for for avoidance of trapping.
Yeah, yeah, the smart ones, the ones who could see the the pitfall before they get to it.
Yep. And so what we've got is we've got populations that are good at hiding and good at, not showing themselves in places. That's why when you get out to like the suburbs where nobody hunts, you'll see ridiculous number of deer because they can just be out in the open and nobody's going to
Oh,
shoot them.
right, yeah, they're safe.
Yeah. It doesn't mean there's less out in the more rural areas, but they have more places to hide and they don't have to worry about much when they're in the suburbs other than being hit by a car, I guess.
Right. Well, and if trapping was that easy, then don't you think people would do it more often? Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna just go sit in a tree stand for 6 to 12 hours and freeze my keister off. Like,
Right.
I'll just
All
walk a
right.
trap line.
Number 20, if foraging is easy. Is that true?
Um, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know anything about foraging. I don't know what I'm looking. I okay. I've gotten better. I was so proud of myself. I was walking through my grass and I could see, the flat plants that grow that, I'm like, oh, I know what that is. That means that my soil's compacted and it has a deep tap root that's designed to break up the soil. Like I'm learning things. I don't know what I can or cannot eat. So if it was up to me, I would die. Me, no forage. No.
Yeah. Well, and how much nutrients are you really going to get out of wild plants?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So like even emaciated, you're still need what 1,000 calories a day
Mhm.
to that's a lot of plants. Like that's a lot of plants.
Yeah, you're not going to get that out of plants. I mean,
No.
yeah, if you're a vegan today and you can go and buy something that's processed and mass grown, I guess you could live kind of, I don't know if I'd call it living, but you can live
Yeah.
off of plants. Um, you can't do that in okay, so I'll take that back. The people who are probably watching this can't do that, right? They're not
Fair
going to
enough.
live
Yep.
exclusively off of plants in any type of foraging or even like planting your own stuff. It's very, very difficult. If
Mhm.
you're in the subtropics, you've got a lot more fat on plants like coconuts
Oh
or
yeah, sure.
and you've got large tubers that grow year round, things like that, where you can get a decent number of calories and some fat, avocados, stuff
Mm,
that actually has real substance to it as a plant.
sure.
In temperate zones, people always all historical peoples either had some type of seafood that they would get throughout the winter
Oh
or
yeah,
they had fat like meats that they harvested and preserved
sure.
because you couldn't make it through the winter
Oh,
on plants.
how could you? Well,
Right.
and we do we oh, that's right. Rabbit starvation. That was I was actually thinking about that. Because yeah, you need fats. Like yeah, you absolutely need fats.
Yep.
All right. Oh, Vic, you've never had elk? Oh,
It's
sir,
delicious.
get yourself if you got elk going through your area, get yourself a tag. Go get yourself an elk. It's amazing. Elk backstrap is so good, so good. Elk jerky is just chef's kiss. It's wonderful.
And definitely look up somebody like Chef Ken Daniels or somebody else who covers how to cook it properly, because it's easy to overdo it.
Very.
And people tend to get
how
worried
to cut
about
it up properly and how to cook it properly.
Yep. Yeah. People tend to get worried about things like chronic wasting disease, especially with deer. And they think if they cook it extra,
cook it more
away. It's like, that's not how cryons work. It's prions.
Prions. Yeah.
Yeah. They die at like, or they go away at like 600-700 degrees. Like, you don't cook your meat to 700 degrees. So don't kill your meat a second time by cooking it wrong.
Right.
So anyways, okay. Foraging is easy. Not really.
Not so much.
It's great. It's a good skill to have, but
absolutely
not super easy.
I was talking to a guy today at Fall Creek Falls, I guess, does a class on foraging, and they'll walk you through the woods and like, oh yeah, you can eat that, and then you can go back and they'll cook it up for you and you can eat it, which is really cool.
Yeah, we've had to be kind of the annoying neighbor, the weirdo neighbor, and talk to neighbors several different times, and just be like, hey, if you're going to spray your fence line or whatever, please don't spray our fence line. I'd be happy to string trim the far side of it, keep it clean for you. Because my kids literally walk around the yard all throughout different seasons. And there's different things to eat and they know what they are. And, I want it to be safe for them to eat them. So I'm the Karen neighbor about all that.
I think that's a reasonable thing. Like, hey, this is my land. Please don't poison it.
Right. Yeah. Think about your overspray a little bit, please.
Right.
So, okay. 21. Nature means safe.
Yeah. Natural means safe. So, yes, there's lots of natural plants, and specifically mushrooms that are incredibly toxic. So just because it's natural does not in any way, shape, or form mean that it's safe.
Yeah. And just because the government tells you it's not safe, also
valid. Yeah.
Pokeberry is an example. Obviously, you got to be careful with this one because there are truly toxic elements to it.
Yeah.
But they can be used in ways that you're told you can't. Like, I'm not recommending this, but I eat the berries raw, whole. Just swallow them.
You don't break it. You just swallow the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Though I wouldn't be especially concerned about chewing it, but it can give you a pretty bad upset stomach if you do. Okay. But they're, historically understood to be a cure for arthritis. I am not claiming that they are. I'm just saying historically that's what they're. There's several other things that they're known to be extremely potent and good at taking.
I wonder what going back to the earlier conversation. I wonder what the mechanism is. I wonder what I'm assuming it's something in the seed.
Yes, I believe so. And it's like, I gotta be careful what I say online. Apple seeds and peach seeds and peach pits, they all contain a form of cyanide that's a bonded cyanide, I believe, with nitrogen. The cyanide is bonded with nitrogen, making it essentially inert to humans. And we have one enzyme that breaks that nitrogen cyanide bond. And that enzyme is found in, I believe, every type of cancer that humans have.
Interesting.
So you put the pieces together. Gotcha. Yeah. You're breaking the bond. You're releasing the cyanide right next to it.
But only at the cellular level, at that location, at that time, with that specific cellular.
Yeah. And so the bonds basically swap. So I'll let people put the pieces together on that one as much as they want to. But all that to say, no, if it's natural, it doesn't mean it's safe. And also, if we're told it's not safe, it doesn't mean it's not safe. So just, it's a lot to digest there.
Their testing methodology is usually so stupid. They're like, okay, we're going to force feed way too much of this one specific thing to this poor animal and then test it to see what happens. Like, I don't care what you are. It's not going to do anything good for you. Like,
No.
it doesn't matter what it is and what you are. No, that's not beneficial.
Any compound in nature that's used for some type of herbal remedy,
Yeah.
if that's all you ever have, it's going to
Right?
cause problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the methodologies are insane if you look them up.
Yes. Yes, it is. All right, number 22. You can survive long term on rabbits alone. And I didn't like this one because, yeah, and we kind of already talked about it. Rabbit starvation is a thing, but it's not because we have fats. I mean, like, gosh, just have some lard and you'll
Mhm.
be fine.
Well, here's the other problem. Rabbit starvation and the stories that we hear about that came from people who were keeping rabbits in such a way that the rabbits did not have any fat on them.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they were
Or they
were
were
hunting
wild.
rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the winter when they, had gone through their fat reserves. If you take a rabbit that you've got caged that you've been feeding, forbs from your yard or pellets or whatever, it's going to have plenty of fat on it. And so rabbit starvation is basically just a toxicity caused by too much protein and no fat.
Yep.
And that's resolved by having a little bit of fat, which is pretty much going to be on any rabbits you raise.
Yep. Absolutely.
And if you raise rabbits and they don't have fat on them, you're
doing it wrong.
So that one's pretty easily disproven.
I think so.
Yeah. So yes, you can survive on rabbits alone. I don't think you'd want to, but you can.
Right. Yeah.
Streams and mountain springs are always safe to drink.
I always grew up, like if it's flowing and it's cold, it's good. I'm like, that's not necessarily true because I've been in the woods and I've watched, critters pee in the water right there.
Mm-hmm.
So no.
Yeah. Well,
Giardia sucks.
It does.
I have endured. I don't know if it was Giardia. I say I had a very unpleasant evening after having some water from a fresh spring into Mom. You'll appreciate this. So we were up at Green Island Lake. Meg and I had hiked in to Green Island, set up camp, had a wonderful evening, and we drank out of the spring, the one on the far side of the lake. Fresh. I mean, it was literally bubbling out of the ground. I have never been so miserable in my life. No.
Yep. I just wanted to get Vic's input here. He says research sassafras. Crazy. Absolutely.
Sassafras is a incredible, crazy deep dive of that I have only just recently begun.
Yep. Yeah. Sassafras is definitely in the same vein as some of the other stuff we talked about where appears
FDA
to have
put
some
the kibosh on it, like what's in the 60s or whatever. And then like, it's just a no. You just don't.
Right. Yep.
Don't tell me no.
Funny thing is, my brother made true root beer from sassafras root as a science project for school, which of course is slightly alcoholic too.
Yeah.
And this is, it's either very late 80s or very early 90s. So of course you didn't have we're looking at books that are beyond when the USDA or whoever went after it.
Right.
So no, we had no clue that it was this, scary thing that we weren't supposed to do because we're looking at old books from our grandparents.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if you saw it. I've got a video, like a short, where I just wanted to basically troll people and see how many views.
Would you drink this water? I saw it.
Yes.
I liked it.
Yeah. Would you drink this water? But that one I cleaned out the spring head really carefully and I knew exactly where it was coming from. So I was pretty confident. I still put a UV filter on the water for the family who's using it just to make sure anything that gets in there is cleaned out.
Yeah. Oh, I grew up drinking. Mom even mentioned it. Cold Springs. Cold Springs is right on the Pacific Crest Trail. And it's right where it crosses one of the roads. And it is water coming up out of like a 2-inch pipe. And it is like gushing out of this.
Yeah.
Like it is a tremendous volume of water and it is cold. And there's a reason it's called Cold Springs. It hurts your teeth. It's cold. Best water. I mean, like the best water. It's amazing. And so I grew up, drinking. There was this one, I remember Dad and I were fly fishing down this creek, and there was a crack in the rock, and there was a jet of water shooting out of the crack. It looked like a natural fountain because it was this perfect arc. And so of course, we're going to stop and drink out of it. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. Like for the vast majority of them, yeah, I'd say you're probably all right. That doesn't guarantee you're going to be all right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've got a spring on my property that we've got a pipe coming out of the hill. We run it through Berkey, but
yeah,
kids go down there and drink out of it fairly often. Nobody's gotten sick.
Awesome.
I'm not too concerned about it. I know it's uphill. I know that it's coming out like the pipe's going under the ground where there's no critters. I mean, there's probably, there's salamanders and crawdads, but at least there's no rodents.
Yeah, right. All right. So streams and mountain springs. Yes.
Yeah. So Vic's saying that they got drinking water from the spring in Sparta.
Yes. The one that they tried to shut down and the community reopened forcefully and told you, don't you come back here. Yeah, that one. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, when they had all the parks roped off for COVID.
Right. Like,
no. I just pulled down the stupid do not cross tape.
So
come and get me, governments, if you so
try.
feel. Yeah, it's all like, this is so stupid.
It really was. It was so dumb. Number 24, if animals eat it, humans can eat it too. Right? Because, they don't have entirely different, gut biomes or total different, systems of like ruminants. Like they don't eat the same way we eat. You understand that, right? It's important that you understand that.
Yeah. I mean, there's ruminants that can break down fibers that we can't, and they're not actually eating those things. Nope. Believe it or not, like
they eat the critters that eat those things.
Right. No. So this is really cool. When you think of a cow or a sheep or a goat or whatever, when they eat something, they're not getting the nutrient from the thing itself. They're largely getting the nutrient from the protein and things that they need from the critters that are breaking it down inside their body.
I know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're carnivores.
Exactly. But it's like a symbiotic carnivore.
Vegans.
It's crazy. Yeah, secondhand vegans. But absolutely, it's just birds can eat all kinds of berries that we can't, and vice versa. There are things that if your horse can actually, they're not a ruminant, but they have a very long hind gut, and so they can break things down that our bodies can't. So if they eat something like too many apple seeds that have that bonded cyanide I was talking about, their body can actually break down that bond, and they can have cyanide toxicity from things like, I believe, Johnson grass and some other things, as well as leaves of like cherry trees, dried leaves of cherry trees and things.
Sure.
You've got to keep the ruminants away from them because they can be toxic, because the ruminant has the ability to break that down so far that they actually, some of these toxins that, I mean, I'd never eat a dried cherry leaf, but that wouldn't necessarily affect us, will affect them. So yeah, it goes both ways.
Interesting. Oh, Vic, dude, my I don't know what my dog got into. Her breath is so bad. Oh my gosh, her breath is so bad.
Yeah,
it has to be cat poop. I mean, like that is the only thing that reeks so badly. Or either maybe that's how cats will leave the intestines in tract of whatever they kill, and my cat's really good at killing stuff. So there's intestine tracts like everywhere. That's the only other thoughts. Like, did the
fertility?
I think the dog may have eaten one. Like,
gross. Oh. Yeah, dogs have higher stomach acid than we do.
Yeah,
naturally. And then humans, thanks to modern medicine and modern diets, have extremely weak stomach acid when it should be much, much higher. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things our dogs can eat, including cat poop. Thanks, Vic. That we can't eat. So, yeah, agreed. And, like old meat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We're not going to go out and eat raw old meat that's been festering, but there's a lot of animals that can. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Coyotes
For
don't care.
sure.
They'll tear it into, yeah.
All right. 25. Moss always grows on the north side
The
of
north side of the
trees.
tree, right? That's how you know, Boy Scouts, they taught you that, right?
Survivalism 101.
Right? No, it's where the shades are favorable. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, no.
Yep.
It's not.
Yeah, I think you might have higher amounts of moss or lichens or other things on the north side, but
Quite possibly, yes.
it's situational. It's dependent on the situation, and if you
Yeah,
don't
I
know how to
mean,
read it
if
right,
the tree is in the overhang, of a cliff face, that's going to totally change where everything grows because depending on the moisture and the sun, yeah, it's
yep.
Yep. That's silliness.
All right, so we're down to personal preparedness and self-sufficiency myths. We've just got a few of these left.
All righty. So buying gear makes you prepared. That's how you get prepared, right? You just buy the gear, store it in your basement, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, especially with, I don't know, backpacks. I love a good backpack, but every time I get somebody in there, I often it's like, put it on. Actually put it on. Like, I don't care. It's just put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how it actually sits on your shoulders. Let's see where it actually rides on your back. Can you, if you loaded this up, can you actually get this to sit properly so that you can use it? Now, you decided, yes, in fact, you want this. Fantastic. Go home, load it up with, a good, let's say 20 pounds worth. Doesn't have to be your kit, doesn't have to be your gear. Just throw 20 pounds in there and go for a mile walk. Just walk down to the end of your block and back. I don't care. Something. Figure out, like what rubs. What are your? It's like go rock. You got to get out and use this stuff because if you just accumulate it, it's not going to benefit you in an emergency.
Yep, and you might not know where it is, and then you might end up buying duplicates so that you
get into
where it is.
Find that's where the mouse decided to make its nest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ask me how I know.
No, I had a segment for the Survival Podcast a few months back, and somebody was asking about it was essentially a early iteration of what we now call solar generators.
Yeah.
And it's like 10, 15 years old, and I could barely even find information online about it.
Sure.
And they're like, well, what can I use it for? I'm like, almost nothing at this point. Right. Because like, not only has it been sitting around so long, the batteries are completely useless because you never charge them.
Yep.
Like you don't know how to use it, and all the components are out of date. So you should have just been using it all along. And then if you ever needed it, you'd know how it works. But yeah. Stockpiling gear doesn't work well. And I'm guilty of that, right? I get stuff inexpensively and then I get too much of it. And then I can't find the stuff that I initially got that I wanted to use.
Right.
So I get new stuff, and there's some, you can't totally avoid it, but having the skills to know how to use the stuff you have is absolutely vital.
Oh yeah. But you're out in the field, you set up your little solar setup and you used it. You figure out the pinch points and go, oh, well, maybe I need to do it this way, or maybe I need to buy this different component, or, oh, this one has a limitation that I didn't realize or didn't value at the moment. And so I'm going to invest in a different, better, whatever.
Right. Well, even just things can't sit too long or they don't work. Like you mentioned the mouse nests. Today I ran my generator for about 30 minutes until it ran out of gas, because there's a little bit of gas from the last time I used it. And I started up every couple of months to keep the carb from going bad. It's
smart.
Like, I'm just going to run it till it's dry, and it's good for the engine to do this every once in a while. And, now I'm not going to have a gummed up carburetor.
Mm-hmm.
So
nothing will hurt an engine worse than just sitting.
Right. Yeah. And if I just let it sit until the next time I have a power outage, when I have a power outage, it likely won't start.
Right. Yeah. When you need it the most is when it's not going to function.
Correct. All right. Number 27, self-sufficiency means doing everything yourself.
Right. And we kind of already, talked about that. It's not about being all, and the lone wolf survivor, which is really the Hollywood vision of a prepper. Like, oh, he's just going to disappear into the woods and never be seen again, and he'll have everything he possibly could. He'll restart civilization by himself somehow. Asexual reproduction or something like that. I don't know.
well, good luck with all the flock drones coming after you.
Right. Oh goodness. It's a silly, it's a detrimental mindset to think that you're going to be that way. Have skills, like have unique skills. So one of the terms that I really actually don't like is being well-rounded. God did not create us to be well-rounded. He created us with specific abilities and lacks so that we work together like more like a machine, like gears.
Mhm.
And we're not supposed to be well-rounded. A well-rounded gear is one that needs to be replaced. That's just not how we were designed. We're not designed to be well-rounded. There's one thing to be, to be well versed in things. That's to have more cogs in your gear. That's fantastic. That does not mean that you're completely and utterly self-sufficient.
Yes. Yeah, and you'll never be. I mean, the reality is if you are, a life lived without anybody else and without any need or reliance on anyone else is not really a life lived.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the pencil argument aside, yeah, you're right. That's not life. Like we need people. We're designed. We're social creatures. Even us introverts, we need people. Supposedly,
we have to do it.
We have to.
Yeah. Thank goodness for our kids
and our wives.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, I just mean like I've got a daughter who's like super extroverted. I know your guy is too.
Yes.
And it's like, it blows my mind. I'm like, where did this come from?
Where did you get that from?
I
do not understand you.
Yeah, it pulls me out, and it's a good thing.
Sure. Oh yeah, it is. Well, that's the weirdness, at least for me, because I am very introverted. Like if I was left to my own devices, I'd be down here in my office 24/7. I really enjoy being by myself, doing my thing, whatever it is. But then you have the Christian side of me where I am literally on a stage weekly in front of people, singing and playing music and interacting. And like, so I have this weird dichotomy in myself of being an introvert and yet being incredibly in the public eye all at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're segmenting it somehow in your brain to make it okay.
Yeah, I gotta rationalize it somehow.
All right. Number 28, solar power means unlimited electricity.
Right. You just have this limitless, like, well, I mean, yes, you can have potential, but like if it's a 5-watt solar cell, no.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to how much are you going to spend on storage? Like there's so many things to this, and you're never going to pay off the system unless you somehow manage to buy a property that's so cheap because you never get power to it. And then like you set it up with solar exclusively. Maybe you could pay for the system or you can pay for the system that way. But if you've already got grid power, you're never going to fully pay for your system by having a system. It provides multiple things. It gives you a backup for when grid is down if you set it up properly. A lot of these grid tie systems don't have that, so keep that in mind.
No, and that's why I really like the systems that like you design where it's critical infrastructure where you're powering your primary items, which is offsetting your costs. But you're right, you're not going to pay for it yourself, but you're going to make sure that those systems stay functional irregardless of whatever may happen on the regular electric grid.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so much to that, and people then think like, oh well, maybe micro hydro. It's like, yeah, if you want to be your own engineer, own maintenance guy, and you've got somehow access to enough water that you can manage it and actually have consistent flow for the micro hydro, but also Not so much that, the Army Corps of Engineers is going to come in and claim it's theirs.
Right. Well,
You know,
it's not even just enough water volume. You need the differential. You need height. So that
yeah,
means your property has to be pretty darn sloped in order to get that, that pressure differential, to get the head pressure necessary to actually be useful.
yeah. And then, it's easy to get clogged up, and you have to maintain it. You have to clear it. You have to watch it. Like, great technology. There's some really great technology and people doing really cool things.
Oh yeah.
But if you ever
The
watch a YouTube
layperson.
video on it, yeah, they're constantly tinkering with it, right? They're constantly improving it or changing something or fixing something. It's not just a set it and forget it thing. And solar is closer to that than like a micro hydro or some of these other alternative energy systems.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, okay, so Vic, where you're at, like, yeah, I get that. It would be a fortune to get, electricity out to your place. And Stacy, when she was on with us,
Mhm.
how much did she say? It was like $38,000 or something stupid to get
Yeah.
electricity out to their place.
Yeah. Way more than a solar electric
Yeah.
system would cost for them to put in.
Well, and then we've got the wonderful benefit of having that, solar refurbisher guy outside of Sparta, where you can get panels for like stupid cheap.
Yep.
Then you just need some batteries and inverters and good to go.
And those are becoming more viable.
They are. It's wonderful. It is really wonderful.
Yep. All right. What's our next?
I'd say we only got a couple more.
Yeah.
Seed banks. Seed banks guarantee your food security. Didn't you have somebody who had a seed bank issue?
I did. I fired her.
You fired her
as a client.
That's wonderful to fire your client. Like, no, just no.
Yeah. Yeah. The only client I've ever fired. I will not say her name, but she was very, very, very difficult and not reasonable. So yeah, she had a multi $10,000, tens of $1,000s worth of seeds that she had bought. And she was extremely obsessed with saving all these seeds in some manner or fashion, and was ready to was trying to put tens of thousands more into having some off-grid system that could keep her seeds temperature controlled and humidity controlled. And and so I'd ask, like, have you ever planted one of these seeds? Well, no, I wouldn't have it when, zombie apocalypse if I planted them.
Yep.
Right. And so, like, there's a lot of those seeds, like the onions. So any of the alliums, any of the lettuces, the straight lettuces, and a lot of the greens aren't even going to come up after a few years, no matter how well you treat them.
Right.
Unless you've got, a Nordic seed bank or something.
Yes.
They're just, they're not going to be viable after a few years, even if you treat them well. On top of that, do you know if any of these varieties do well here? Do you know if you like any of them? Are they resistant to the funguses we have?
For this zone?
Yeah. You're going to be a lot better off planting them, seeing which ones do well, saving the seeds from the ones that do well, and then creating what's called a land race, which is something that you've grown on your property or in your very, very close vicinity for multiple generations of that plant.
Yeah.
So that its genetics become used to and stronger for that given region. Mm-hmm. So no, food banks or seed banks are wrong in so many ways. Sure, get one if you know what you're doing, but start making your own.
Exactly.
Figure out how to save seeds, figure out how to grow seeds, and figure out what you like.
I would love, because I feel that is a skill that is lacking. It is how to properly harvest seeds from different plants. Because back in California, I had a friend. He was really good. I mean, like really good at harvesting the seeds from tomatoes and peppers and all these plants, and he would grow them year after year after year, and they were amazing. Like it was, and they were incredibly easy to germinate, incredibly good, resilient, plants. And I kept asking him, like, dude, you got to teach me how to do this, because I've tried and it doesn't work. They just rot. They literally just mold, and because I don't get them dry enough or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, once you know how to do it, if you've got one tomato plant that you like and you plant it and it grows out, you can eat all the tomatoes and
Right.
still save the seeds. If you want to put the time into it, you could have, you know, a half a gallon worth of seeds,
Yeah.
which is way more than you'll ever plant in your lifetime.
Ever. Yeah.
Um, just from the one plant that's really well kept. And I say that it sounds kind of extreme, but I've had tomato plants that have grown, 30 feet long and had, hundreds of pounds of tomatoes
Oh,
on
dang.
them.
Yeah.
It's not common, but you can, if that's your thing, if you're really trying to keep that plant going, um, you can get so much food off of one tomato plant. And that means so much seed because one of those seeds makes another plant the same size with the same amount of seed.
Right.
So you could provide all of Sparta and Spencer with all the tomato seeds they'll need for the next year with one plant in your own garden.
Sure.
If you know what you're doing, and you don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a seed bank. So
Right.
please don't.
Yes. Right.
All right. Rant over. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Okay. So the very, very last one. And I thought this was hilarious. You can learn anything from YouTube, which is definitely not the case if you go to the Homestead Consultants channel, because you can learn everything you possibly need to know.
As long as you're in zone 7. And,
Right.
watch all of my videos so you know all the context.
That's right. There's a lot of really good information on YouTube. But it does not replace physically getting out there and doing it. Watching a video and going, oh yeah, I ethereally understand how the concepts of how to do this is not the same as actually wrenching on a motorcycle or digging up, tubers or, building a solar system or whatever. Do this stuff. Like, yes, you're going to make mistakes. Absolutely. Do it anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Do it anyway. I think that's excellent advice. And I hope next week we're actually going to talk about when you should be a quitter. So today we're ending with do it anyway. And next week we'll talk about why you should be a quitter. Or when
but sometimes stop.
Yes. Do it anyways, but and not under these circumstances. So
right. Well, because it's an important thing to have the self understanding of when to say no more, the spent cost and all that. It's like, yes, I sometimes need to say no, but
yeah,
always try.
Get over the sunken cost fallacy.
Yes.
And
that's the one. Yes.
Know when it's ready when you should pull the plug and when you shouldn't pull the plug. And there's subtleties to all of it, but that comes back largely to goal setting and knowing what you want to do and what your property can support, what your finances, what your time can support, and actually putting those down so that you can think through that and make good decisions rather than just, well, I've already put this time into it.
Right.
Or money into it or whatever.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, if the chat doesn't have any further myths for us to discuss, do you want to tell them where they can find more about you?
Sure. Well, there's a good chance you're watching this on the YouTubes at the Homestead Consultant. So YouTube at the Homestead Consultant, same for TikTok. And I guess I have Instagram or something. I don't know. Or something. I don't know. You can find me online. You can also go to my website, thehomesteadconsultant.com, where I've got articles and videos posted there. And you can find out more about what I do, where I help people set up and just make their homesteads a lot more efficient if they're already up and running, and think through some of the things that we talked about today. Some of it depends that you might need some help thinking through. So that's mostly what I do. Also, if people are looking for somebody as a speaker at like homestead events or similar, that's something that I've been kind of starting to take up lately. So let me know, reach out to me. You can find my contact information at thehomesteadconsultant.com.
Nice. Alrighty. And I am Jared Wilson. I own Resilient Living. You can come by the shop if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, between Cookeville and Chattanooga, or more specifically between Sparta and Spencer on the Highway 111 corridor. Come by my shop and say hi. If you're in the market for firearms, for knives, for freeze-dried foods, for books on all the topics that we cover, just outdoor equipment in general, training. I'm your shop. I can't do the Father's Day plug anymore, but if you've got a birthday coming up, come by the shop.
Yeah, if you've got a dad who's hard to buy for, go by the shop.
That's right.
Jared will help you out and make sure your dude gets some good stuff.
Right. All
but
right.
yes, Father's Day is over. So unfortunately, you missed out if you done messed up, Ron.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Oh goodness. So yeah, if you're not already following Ryan and I on our social medias, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the things. We also are continuing to post twice a week on Spotify. My Facebook page, I've got it pinned to the top, is the easiest way to get to our Spotify for the podcast. So Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm posting up old podcast episodes. So check those out.
Awesome. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.